Kumain ka sa gila kayo.
Bro, what is this production? What the fuck? Oh my god.
That nigga got his brain.
And the thing that I really appreciate about Tank is he's a dog. That kind of that what he just said. You can put them earmuffs up and go at it. He kind of will assess you as well, and whatever he needs to do, he'll do.
Jake Paul has weighed in on the latest viral training footage of Gervonta Tank Davis, and his reaction is sparking plenty of conversation. The video, which has been making the rounds on social media, showcases Davis looking more powerful, quicker, and technically refined than ever, as he gears up for his upcoming bout. Many fans are wondering if this marks the beginning of his prime. Davis has built his career competing in the lighter weight classes, most recently fighting between 133 and 135 pounds. He's never officially gone above 140 pounds in a professional match. On the other hand, Jake Paul is naturally much bigger. He usually competes as a cruiserweight, coming in around 200 pounds, which is the weight he's hit in recent fights. This isn't a minor difference. It spans multiple weight divisions. At that level, it's not just about technique anymore. A larger fighter typically has key physical advantages, including greater durability, punching power, the ability to absorb shots, and more leverage in exchanges. When the size gap is that significant, it often shifts the fight dynamic from pure skill to who can take the punishment and keep pushing forward.
Something else that's unfortunate is the idea that Jake Paul might actually fight Gervonta Tank Davis. This can't be real. When it came up a couple of months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna cover this because there's no way it's real. There's no way they're really gonna do that because it makes no sense. Why would you do that for him? Outside of it, like, okay, you can look at it like an exhibition, which it will be, and we'll take a look at some of the rule set for it. But Gervonta Davis is one of, if not the best, biggest names at 135 pounds, and is an active in his prime fighter. I don't want to hear the similar to Floyd and Logan thing, because at that point, Floyd was retired. Floyd had done all he needed to do in the sport. Tank is still in his prime, still has multiple high-level opponents that he needs to fight. And you can say, oh, you know, the Jake would be a one-off. Side quest. That's fine, but that just tells me that Tank doesn't care about being a high-level champion in the sport.
Carmel Moughton recently reflected on a sparring session he had with Gervonta Davis when he was around 15 or 16 years old. He admitted feeling a bit anxious going into it, but said the session quickly evolved into more of a strategic battle than a brawl. It wasn't just about power, it became a test of timing, speed, and counter-punching. Moughton emphasized that Davis didn't try to overpower him or go for a knockout. Instead, the two exchanged angles and rhythm in what felt like a mental chess match in the ring. While Davis's strength was definitely noticeable, Moughton said the exchange was fairly even in terms of pure skill and quickness. He described the experience as both enjoyable and demanding, a moment that played a meaningful role in his growth as a boxer.
What was it like when you sparred him? I know you sparred Tank early on.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Like, replay that experience for me. Like, you coming out of it, what was your thought?
Yeah, I was nervous at first. I think I was 15 at the time we sparred, so he wasn't really like trying to knock me out or nothing like that. But we was going like, he was using the speed on me. Like, we was both like going speed for speed, and it was great. It was like a chess match.
Did you understand in that moment like why he is who he is?
Yeah, I seen why he's able to beat these guys. Then I also seen why I'm so like I got all this hype around me.
Sean Porter has come to Gervonta Davis's defense regarding his decision to take part in an exhibition match with Jake Paul, saying critics are missing the bigger picture. According to Porter, this kind of fight isn't about chasing greatness or legacy, it's about ensuring financial security for Davis and his family. Since it's an exhibition, the risks are reduced thanks to preset rules and safety protocols, and the main objective is to entertain, not dominate. Porter points out that professional boxing careers can be short-lived, and fighters need to capitalize on opportunities that offer both visibility and financial gain. From his perspective, Davis isn't compromising his integrity. He's making a smart move to secure his future while still giving fans something to enjoy. Porter's comments highlight the ongoing tension between those who prioritize legacy and those who recognize the harsh realities of life beyond the ring.
They're trying to make it safer and all those sorts of things, but there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore, but it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel being boxers?
Man, like once you hear the numbers, I'm like, they're talking like, I don't know the official. They're talking about like 100 mil.
Oh damn.
Like, they're talking about these insane numbers. Like I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million or something like that. But I do see exactly what you're saying about the essence of boxing. I wish they would kind of separate it a little more, because exhibitions have always been a thing. There's always been an argument.
Right.
But they're just selling it like a real fight almost.
Right.
So I think that maybe if we could create a better like distinction, more of a difference. Right. There might be less hate on it, but at the end of the day, man, I'm not gonna tell Tank not to take that fight.
And I said this last year. I said create a influencer title. And let those guys fight over there in the influencer world. They can live the world and the life of I'm a world champion without having to do something like this. Now, the issue for this that I have is you have a legitimate 135-pound champion fighter getting in the ring with a 190-pound guy, whatever it is that Jake Paul is at. So now we already let's really answer.
On the other hand, many argue that despite the buzz, the matchup feels more like a spectacle than a truly balanced or competitive fight. Even event organizers appear to recognize the risks, implementing special conditions like a 195-pound catch weight, larger gloves, and the exhibition format to help ensure safety. Critics point out that while Jake Paul has a relatively limited background in the sport, Davis has faced top-tier opponents and world champions. For them, the issue isn't just about the weight difference, it's about the massive gap in boxing pedigree. They envision Davis using his speed and precision to pick Paul apart, landing sharp shots and potentially making Paul look awkward and outmatched, even with the size advantage.
Comment about it. My question is, what's the rules? And like, are they gonna actually try and knock each other out? Because it's gonna be a glorified sparring match. I'm not watching, dude. I don't give a fuck.
Jake's gonna have a hard time hitting him.
Yeah. Big time. Gervonta's so fast and skilled.
Gervonta's gonna eat his
I thought
guts.
Jake was gonna fight Anthony Joshua. That seemed
no, that was actually getting.
That is
sounded
the
more
craziest idea I've ever
Yeah.
heard. Jake Paul trying to fight Anthony Joshua is, crazy.
Not a sanctioned professional bout. This means the fight will not count towards either fighter's professional records.
So it's still being finalized.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that.
What is so behind the scenes? You think there are things like, hey, we don't punch each other in the jaw.
Yep. Or don't go. We can punch in the face, but don't go for broke. Like, don't knock me out.
Really?
Yeah. It's an exhibition.
That's
so
not
they
very
can get away
interesting
with
to
it.
me.
No. Until I find the rule sets, but when I hear exhibition, I'm like, okay.
Jake is bodied up, man.
He's big.
Yeah.
Probably has 100 pounds on Gervonta.
Maybe. I'd say Gervonta probably walks at 150.
Oh, he's so small.
He's so small. I mean, he's really small. Bring up Gervonta Davis next to Floyd Mayweather, because I've seen Floyd in person and he's tiny. You've seen Floyd in person.
I've worked with Gervonta and Floyd.
Tiny.
Well, Floyd
dude.
likely has shoes on there.
Oh, dude, he's so small.
He's tiny, guys.
Yeah. I mean, he's so small. Wow. Great.
Chael Sonnen recently expressed disappointment over Jake Paul's decision to pivot from a potential fight with Anthony Joshua to facing Gervonta Davis. Sonnen described this shift as a letdown compared to what had initially been anticipated. He pointed out that unlike Paul, Davis isn't naturally skilled at hyping up fights or generating buzz. Davis prefers to let his performance in the ring speak for itself, but he doesn't possess the same promotional savvy that Paul has developed over time. While Sonnen respects Davis's talent and legitimacy as a boxer, he feels the event's success relies heavily on Paul's ability to craft compelling storylines and attract media attention. In his opinion, the matchup's popularity owes more to Paul's promotional efforts than just the fighters stepping into the ring.
It is the exact opposite of Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul for 2. So the fight that was being dangled and rumored in front of us, the exact opposite has happened. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is not fighting nobody. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is fighting Tank Davis. Okay, so there's one big glaring issue for me. It's just your partner being Tank Davis. Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. It could be a title fight, a contenders fight, a main event fight. He could be the favorite, he could be the underdog. Tank doesn't know how to bring that information to you guys in a way that is compelling. And Tank is already blinking in this situation. You have one guy who is argued amongst the pound for pound current greats in boxing. You have another guy that has suggested he should not even be allowed to box, that he should have to call it something different. He should not be licensed. He should not be ranked in the top 14. He should never be selected for a world title. Okay. Now, Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport.
Gervonta Davis's opinion of Jake Paul has noticeably changed over time. Initially, Davis dismissed Paul as little more than a loud, attention-grabbing entertainer, openly mocking his claims and treating him as a joke in the boxing scene. However, as Paul began to take his training seriously and started gaining credibility, Davis's perspective started to shift. He has since recognized Paul's dedication, mental resilience, and hard work in the gym. Though Davis still doesn't rank Paul among the elite fighters, he has become more open to the possibility of a matchup, largely influenced by Paul's growing popularity and ability to draw a crowd.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown. He's a clown. I know that Jake can't fight. He can't fight. So
would you look at it as a joke if someone, if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him. You want me to fight him? At first, I didn't like how Jake Paul was coming because of how he was making it look. But now that I see that, I feel as though he's still a clown because that's his personality. I'm starting to respect it because he's not doing it like for the hype. He was really like trying to be a boxer. I think that he's decent.
Yeah.
Like he's good. I mean, he's not good, but he's going that way.
Is he better than you thought he'd be?
Yeah. Gotta be mentally tough to be able to box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
Jake Paul's impressive victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. significantly boosted his standing within the boxing world. The event in Anaheim broke the venue's record for gate revenue, surpassing shows headlined by some of the sport's top fighters, highlighting Paul's growing commercial appeal. Prominent boxing figures like Oscar de la Hoya have started to take Paul seriously, suggesting that he might have what it takes to compete for world titles. Even Manny Pacquiao acknowledged that, despite any remaining skepticism, Paul's commitment to the sport demands respect. The fight also enhanced Paul's technical reputation, with experts praising his ring control and ability to stay calm under pressure in a challenging environment.
Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it's a real fight. Yeah. Look, people keep talking about Jake Paul, well, he's not a real fighter, this and that. Well, he's fighting a real fighter now in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It's going to be a good test for both guys. Obviously, Jake Paul, he's a masterclass promoter in what he does. He's been doing some great things. I mean, Mike Tyson, 60 million people, fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, when he trains, when he gets in shape, when he's focused, he will be dangerous for anybody. Look, Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So there's a lot of stories to come out from this, a lot of great stories for Jake Paul. So I just feel honored and proud that we can team up with MVP Promotions, with Jake Paul, and we can make Zurdo Ramirez with Torticos the mandatory. That's going to be a bloodbath in itself. So
Jake Paul has officially declared that he's entering a new phase of his boxing career, one focused on taking on legitimate, established fighters within the sport. After his win against Andre August, Paul announced he's moving away from fighting crossover or MMA athletes and is now pursuing the traditional boxing path. In a recent CNN interview, he emphasized his goal to face all challengers, especially the toughest opponents where he's considered the underdog, aiming to prove his worth inside the ring. This determination is clear across his public appearances and social media, as Paul is eager to move beyond the spectacle and carve out a genuine boxing legacy by competing against credible professionals.
So everybody's been calling you out, Daniel Dubois, Ryan Garcia, all these people. Who's the most enticing to you?
Oh no, like, I want to fight them all, to be honest. I just need the time. So I probably will literally fight all of them. So they're all enticing to me.
Significant weight gap between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis proved too much for regulators in Georgia, who ultimately refused to approve the fight. As a result, Paul's team withdrew their permit application there and opted to relocate the event to Miami. This situation highlights the complexities involved in organizing high-profile exhibition bouts. Local commissions prioritize safety, fairness, and risk management, not just the financial incentives. For Davis, the denial in Georgia underscores the ongoing doubts about the matchup. Meanwhile, the move to Miami suits Paul's knack for generating buzz and keeping the spotlight on himself. Relocating the fight impacts how fans perceive the event, alters logistical plans, and serves as a reminder of how sensitive and complicated the business side of boxing can be.
No way in hell this fight was ever gonna happen. And the fact that y'all believed it, I don't know, you're stupid. So Rick Thompson, chairman of the Georgia Athletic Commission, told USA Today Sports that Paul's promotion company withdrew its request for permits and a rule waiver, citing the 65-pound weight difference between the fighters. The Rick Thompson guy straight up said they've been promoting something they should not have been. Come on guys, like, use your brains. Y'all boxing fans, you understand this. This fight was never gonna happen. This is the article from USA Today. It says the status of the proposed fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis under scrutiny because of the weight discrepancy between the two fighters. Rick Thompson is coming out and saying this stuff because he said he believes it's in the public's best interest to know that they've been promoting something they should not have been. Communications director for the Office of the Secretary of State told USA Today Sports the event will not be happening. But funny enough, tickets are still available. You could still purchase them online, and the fight is still listed on the State Farm Arena.
Some critics believe Jake Paul's ascent in boxing isn't just driven by savvy promotion, but also by a controversial approach that disrespects fighters from previous eras. They argue that by luring retired legends back into the ring with lucrative offers, Paul risks compromising the sport's integrity. While the return of icons like Mike Tyson generates excitement among fans, it also brings up serious questions about safety and the well-being of these fighters.
They're taking on Mike Tyson that's pushing 60 years old, for crying out loud, but at the same time pretending to be like this badass motherfucker, sending me DMs talking. He offered me a contract a long time ago, and I was like, what are you doing? I'm a retired fighter and I've got one eye. Why would I want to fight you? I wouldn't lower myself to doing that. I know a lot of people do that. They do lower themselves, if you want to say that, because of the payday, because Jake Paul is a big name. He is a social media sensation. He's a YouTube star. And now, of course, in the world of boxing, he's one of boxing's biggest stars because he puts on these spectacles like Paul versus Tyson, like Nate Diaz, because these are the fighters, these are the names that attract the eyes. Jake Paul is the B-side to almost every single one of his fights. When he fought Nate Diaz, people were tuning in for Nate Diaz. His last fight against Cesar Chavez Jr., apparently no one watched that fight. Apparently the pay-per-views were ridiculously low. So this one's going back to Netflix on November 14th, and it's an exhibition bout. Of course, it's an exhibition bout because no athletic commission in their right mind will sanction this fight. There's just no way you can make this a legitimate fight because of the size advantage. Typically, this would be very, very dangerous and someone could get really hurt. If Jake Paul was to swing as hard as he could and connect and wobble him and hit him many, many times and not knock him out with the bigger gloves and the concussion possibilities and the brain rattling around inside the head and Jake Paul just teeing off at him as hard as he could, it's dangerous. That's why fights like this can't get sanctioned. That's why this is a exhibition bout and not a real matchup. Now listen, they're both going to get paid tremendously. They're going to make a ton of money and a lot of people are going to tune in and watch it on Netflix.
Ultimately, the matchup between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis highlights just how much the boundaries between sport and entertainment have blurred. While some see the fight as an uneven contest, others view it as a strategic business move, one that offers both fighters increased visibility, significant financial rewards, and new opportunities. The differences in weight, the venue changes, the behind-the-scenes promotional tactics, and the ongoing debates about the fight's legitimacy will continue to fuel discussion. But for fans, critics, and insiders alike, the real intrigue lies in seeing how these two very different athletes navigate the pressure, public opinion, and consequences when they step into the ring. Whether this event goes down as a spectacle or a milestone in crossover boxing, its impact will be felt for a long time.
Optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
We're gonna have to help you up. We're gonna have to help you up. We're gonna see about it. Help you up.
Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him Bambi legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's the Black Two Sugars. That you guys don't want to admit it. Don't bull jive. Think about it.
So what's your take? Does this fight actually make sense, or is the size difference just too much to take seriously? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm curious to hear what you think.